Let's get talking again. I'm not alone, as I said before, but I'm excited about today. I'm excited about the activity, and I'm excited about the sporting world. I'm with Isaac. Isaac, so good they named him twice. It's been a connotation for JJ for so long.
Yeah, so good they named him
But
twice. Well
a second knuckle for you.
Yeah.
We've seen the Premier League happen. Exciting game of football so far. We saw in the FA Cup yesterday, Chelsea took on Crystal Palace. Before this match last week, we've analyzed, we've talked about the different contexts of this match, the difficulties from a Chelsea point of view, coming from the Champions League, that disappointment with Real Madrid, leading 3-0, and in the long run, they had to lose out in that particular competition. And now it's the FA Cup. It seemed like the only silverware for Chelsea, taking on Crystal Palace, who seemed like the Kingslayer, beating everyone black and blue and moving to this position. Now, we've seen Chelsea play and getting that 2-0 win.
I think for Chelsea, it's been a fantastic ride for them. First up, give it to the man, Thomas Tuchel. I mean, he's taken them to 6 finals in 15 months since joining the club.
Not to stop you, not to look at what's happening at the backside of Chelsea.
Yeah,
they're still looking forward to a buyer.
Very beautiful thing.
The difficulties in terms of the finances of the club.
Of course.
And yet they're chunking out this performance.
They've not allowed all of this, bad energy to affect their performance. And you have to give it up to Thomas Tuchel. He's instilled a crazy mentality in these Chelsea players. They've been fantastic all season, despite a few blips here and there in UEFA Champions League, but they've been fantastic all season. I mean, Chelsea would have to play 63 of their 66 games. This season, I mean, just spending the semi-final of the Champions League and the final that they did not reach, of course. But I think for Chelsea, they have been fantastic all season, and this is just their only chance of a silverware this particular season. Of course, I mean, they lost out in the Carabao Cup. The Premier League title race is off their hook, of course, and then as soon as the Champions League lost to Real Madrid in the quarterfinal, so they have to take these two the cleaners. Liverpool they face again, so it's not going to be an easy task. Liverpool yesterday made a mess out of Manchester City.
We'll talk about Liverpool in a bit.
Yeah,
but look at this game. Lukaku here had some wonderful chances, and he had to hit the post.
Well, I think Lukaku has been a shadow of himself. I think the pressure on him to perform has affected his performance. He's not been able to put up good numbers. I mean, in the first leg of the game against Real Madrid, he missed a fantastic chance to draw level for Chelsea in that particular game that would have given them a cushion heading into the second leg of that game, but he missed a fantastic chance. So I think for Chelsea and Lukaku, it should be a case of a marriage that was not made in heaven, because he's not been able to put up those numbers, and he's already thinking of trying to go back to the Inter Milan to try to revive his career. But I think Chelsea never needed a Lukaku in their team.
Okay, because the concern would be how Thomas Tuchel also is using him. People talk about from different quarters how to play Lukaku and get the best out of Lukaku.
That's a question. I mean, it breaks my heart when people talk about the fact that Tuchel is not using Lukaku to the standard. But the question is, between a coach and a player, who should adjust to each other's tactics? It should be the player adjusting to the coach's tactics, because at the end of the day, if things go haywire, the coach is to be blamed. So I think Lukaku has not been able to cover himself in glory.
Let's look at it this way. You have such a talented footballer, but he's more of a pump and run player. You have to release him with his own gift, his strength.
Well, Chelsea,
and you look at Chelsea now, they don't seem to be doing that. Because for Lukaku to really work for you, you have to launch those balls to Lukaku. Get Lukaku to run and get the goals. Well, and Chelsea right now are doing the build-up play, and they're not giving Lukaku the balls on time.
That's the point, Blyden. The case is Chelsea don't play that hit and run like you said. Chelsea play possession-based football. They try to create chances. Lukaku, the onus is on him to try to drag deep and then get the ball, play in the midfield a little bit, and then try to, initiate attacks for your teammates as well. But Lukaku plays like a points man, and then when he plays as a points man, the focus is on him. The defenders try to mark him off, and Chelsea look toothless. But in the case where they play without a striker, I mean, anybody comes in and scores. Kai Havertz scores, Reece James scores.
So the question is, why buy Lukaku when you're not going to use him?
That's the thing, like I told you earlier.
You're not using him according to his strength.
I started by saying that Chelsea never needed Lukaku. I mean, they needed a striker who would come in, who would play in the mode of Olivier Giroud, drag deep, and then set up his other teammates to score
maybe
goals.
The coach also has a place of trying to suit the player style in the team. It's not always a single affair in terms of how you play. You can always adjust, teams can adjust. But let's talk about other games. Let's look at Liverpool. Exciting win from a Liverpool point of view. Look, they've played this season twice, and it's all been draws. We saw in the Premier League, difficult game.
Yeah.
But Liverpool now playing Manchester City had to get the win, because we've talked about Liverpool being in all competition, and it's a second win, the one the Carabao Cup ahead of Chelsea.
Yeah, of
and now they'll be meeting Chelsea
again in the
FA Cup. But great win over Manchester City.
Well, of course, tactical masterclass from the man Jurgen Klopp. He showed class. He showed that, I mean, he's big. And according to stats, you know, Blyden, he's now defeated Pep Guardiola 10 times. That's more than any other manager has defeated Pep Guardiola. That shows you that he is doing a fantastic job against
I love
Pep
using
Guardiola.
the word massive. That's massive.
Yeah, a massive job, of course, against Pep Guardiola.
It's not easy to beat Guardiola 10 times.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to beat Guardiola 10. No other manager in history have done that. So Klopp has been a fantastic coach. I mean, leading this Liverpool team and has turned them into a team to beat in the competition. They are still chasing 4 titles this season. The Premier League, they have the Carabao Cup already in their bag. The Champions League is also, and then the FA Cup against Chelsea.
But let me say this before time is no more on the side. Look, Kevin De Bruyne injured, Walker injured. How's it going to affect Man City moving forward?
Well, I think it will. I mean, it affected them, you know, in this game. I mean, I think that they needed Kevin De Bruyne, you know, to spring up a surprise and do something spectacular, but they never had that creativity in the middle of the park. Moreover, City players missed a lot of chances. Raheem Sterling was guilty of missing chances. The likes of Gabriel has just missed a lot of chances that would have seen them, you know, even win this game. But of course, it's the same story. They really have missed chances.
City had to drop some players for this game.
Yeah, I don't think City have got squad. They've got depth. I mean, they shouldn't.
So it doesn't matter.
Well, it does at the end of the day. Because, I mean, people talk about the fact that City didn't use their first 11, but City used this team, and this team is worth £477 million as against Liverpool's team worth £450 million. So
all right,
City
if you move to
is a big
Manchester
team.
United, there's a certain gentleman who's 37, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Dos
I
Santos
stress the name.
Aveiro.
Oh, you can say that again. He's been doing magic. But sadly, from my standpoint, it's basically about playing against the smaller teams. He's been hitting the hat-trick against the smaller teams. But you can't take anything away from the 37-year-old. Manchester United beating Norwich City. Exciting game it was.
But this man, I mean, this talk
Manchester
about
United, rather.
This talk about United, you know, Ronaldo rather scoring against the smaller teams. I think it's really, you know, not necessary because this man has scored 15 goals for United this season. I mean, it shows you that imagine if he didn't score
in the toughest league in the world.
Imagine if he didn't score those 15 goals. It would be crazy. So 30 hat-tricks before turning 30, 30 hat-tricks after turning 30. This man is clearly a GO80.
What's the future for Manchester United, considering right now they're battling for top 4 position? And they've not been playing quite well in recent times. We've seen the same thing with Arsenal. Since the injury of Thomas Partey, they've struggled, they've not been able to get the wins. And we see the likes of Tottenham. Everyone thinks Tottenham is going all the way to get the wins. And over the weekend, they slumped. Lost to Brighton 0-1-0.
I think for United, it's a bad story for them because their struggle would always continue due to the fact that there's this dressing room crisis in the team. So unless they settle that problem, they'll continue. For us now,
where's the crisis coming from?
Well, I don't know. It looks like it's a case of, you know, Ronaldo's camp against Maguire's camp or something. But there's a problem in that dressing room, and it shows when they play. Take a look at yesterday. You know, Maguire gave Pogba an injury. And Pogba almost fought with Maguire and all of that. So that's the story. For us now, I mean, the fans say they have a game in hand, but I think that hand has been amputated because they've been a crazy run. I mean, they had a chance to win yesterday, increase their cushion. It was not possible. So I think for us now and United, I mean, it's a story of plummeting. And also for Tottenham, Conte is gradually inspiring them to a top 4 finish. And I think I'd fancy Tottenham over Arsenal and Manchester United.
In Arsenal, we've noticed over the season, they start the season well. And when it gets to the middle of the season,
the end.
They seem to do well. Rather, they start the season badly. And at the middle of the season, they start to do well. And at the end of the season, they slump. It seems to be a question of no party in Arsenal.